Then we will discuss the supply chain design matching with the business strategy. Then reverse logistics as a strategy we will discuss in this chapter. Then we are going to discuss the consumer service strategy, what are the enablers and determinants. Last we will discuss the supply chain as a competitive advantage. All these things you are able to understand after completion of this unit. So now comes to the introduction part. You know that with a rapid changing of the environment and the technological advancement, the conduct of business is rapidly changing with the passage of time and customers' preferences. And one tool which has really supported to wave these traditional transformative times is the advantage of new technologies and modes of communication and transportations. Nowadays, the companies are able to trade easily at the local and global level, which gradually resulted in the development and design of the concept of global supply chain management, the GSCM. You can take one example of the Apple or Zara or Dell, etc. These are known for their quality products worldwide by the customers on the basis of strategic orientation towards the global supply chain management. Then let us know what is the global supply chain management. What is this term meaning? Or what do you mean by the global supply chain management? A global supply chain is a dynamic worldwide network. When a company purchases or uses goods or services from overseas, it involves the people, information, process and resources involved in the production, handling and distribution of materials and finished products or providing a service to the customer. So global supply chain management refers to the distribution of a service and goods through global network of a transnational company to maximize the profits and minimize the waste. So these two technical words or key terms, try to remember. One is to maximize the profit, another is how to minimize the waste. And the basic goal of the supply chain management is the same as supply chain management, but the global supply chain focus is on the companies and organizations that have transitional presence. Only this is the difference. Then comes to what are the main areas of global supply chain management. What are the main areas it covers? There are so many areas are there. One is orientation of competitor. You know, in a competitive environment, to survive of an organization is a very challenging nowadays. So global supply chain management has the specific orientation of competitor in the development and designing of supply chain management strategies, as this will depend on the product and services the company deals with and the strategic orientation of a competitor in that business space. Second is management of logistics. What is that management of logistics? Global supply chain management, as this will depend on the company, which platform they will choose from the IPL, 2PL, 1PL, 2PL, 3PL and 4PL. As each and every aspect of the logistics party will provide specific advantages and disadvantages in the prime location for the dedicated customer. So two main areas, one is orientation of a competitor, second is management of logistics. Number 3 area of global supply chain management is customer orientation. Customers are the king in the market. The role and the importance of customers are well defined in the business space and the company has to take this aspect very seriously so that global supply chain management will fulfill and meet the desired stated and unstated needs of the customers. Number 4 is management of supply, because everything is in one side, but supply is another side. So it is also another important areas of the global supply chain management. The supply side in the global supply chain management try to cover all the suppliers and partners in their own way, because everyone has its own way they will supply and manner, so that specific raw materials and other resources will be managed in the most optimum manner. How to use or manage in a most efficient manner and optimum manner, that is also another important challenge for every organizations. So management of supply also is one of the major areas of global supply chain management. Number 5 is supply chain coordination. Supply chain, it is good, but how it will be coordinated? Without a proper coordination, nothing can be complete its work perfectly. So a supply chain coordination plays an important role in the global supply chain management. Suppose one entity is not working properly, then entire network of the global supply chain management will be disturbed, because all are interrelated. If one part, one department, one entity is not working properly, then entire system, entire supply chain management will be affected and disturbed. An organization will not earn the estimated profits, and customers will not be able to have the desired fruits in terms of products and services. Next is operations management. Traditionally, the companies were working in the specific rigid cubicles because it has a confined, there was a confined area, confined areas and restrictions. But now they were occasionally communicating to each other. Traditionally, it was happening. There was a rigid cubicles, and occasionally they are communicating each other. But after the advent and usage of operations management, the effectiveness and efficiency of the organizations have increased rapidly. Because you already know from the unit 1, we are continuously focusing and discussing about the effectiveness, efficiency, optimum utilization, how it is possible. So proper management is required for it. Operations management is required. But traditionally, it was not more focused. But nowadays, now in a globalized market, in a rapid changing market or competitive market, the role of operations management is also increasing, and it has a major role in the global supply chain. So these are the different major areas of global supply chain management. Then comes to what is the global supply chain strategy? Global supply chain strategy, it is designing the product flows in an optimal way so as to satisfy all the global customers and suppliers along the supply chain. So again, I'm repeating, what is that global supply chain management strategy or global supply chain strategy? It is designing in such a way the product flows in an optimal way. That means in a maximum way it will flow for what? Now, to satisfy the global customers as well as the suppliers, not only the customers but also the suppliers also in the supply chain. So basically, how to satisfy the global customers as well as the global suppliers, the global supply chain strategy is designed. It also involves a process in which procurement, what do you mean by procurement? This is the bring, and supply can be made around the globe, irrespective of location, and the shipment will be delivered to the exact destination. So it is such a process in which the procurement and supply can be made around the globe, irrespective of the location. It may be anywhere, that does not matter. Irrespective of the location, and shipment will be delivered to that particular or exact destination. But we have to understand the difference between global supply chain strategy and the multi-country supply chain strategy. What is that difference? A global supply chain strategy basically focuses on brand and brand image. It does not adapt to the local needs so that there is uniformity in the products and services throughout the globe, such as MacBook. Basically, the global supply chain strategy always focuses to the brand and brand image. And for that reason, it maintains a uniformity in all over the globe. However, there are a number of cases in which products and services are modified according to the local needs. The local needs means according to the local customers' taste and preference, their way of living, their culture, everything. Such as Pizza Hut, under multi-country supply chain strategy, it is working. See the difference. In one side, global supply chain strategies focus on the brand and brand image. It has no relation to the local needs. For that reason, it maintains a uniformity. In opposite side, in a multi-country supply chain strategy, it focuses to the local needs, and the services are also accordingly modified. Already I have given that example of Pizza Hut. So global supply chain strategy, then what are the trends in global supply chain strategies? What are the trends? There are different trends up there. One is use of green technology and to cut logistics cost. Green technology, now we can see it is a buzzword now. Green HR, green technology, green environment, everything. The green. So companies like Mercer, Tesla, and Microsoft have already started to use the green technology. What is that? And basically, here reduce their carbon footprint by a great factor. Now, many companies have adopted the global supply chain strategies of using green technology in their supply chain. It is one type of compulsion now. It is the market wants this. So this is a strategy, green technology and to cut the logistics cost. It is one of the important strategy of global supply chain. Second is supply chain integration. With the goal of streamlining the entire supply chain ocean carrier, companies like Maersk and Damco have started to integrate their supply chains digitally for the overall better efficiency and effectiveness. It integrates all these things. They are integrating the supply chains digitally. Next is trade lens technologies. The collaboration in business is always between the like-minded partners, suppliers, and organizations. Because it is not possible if all are interested. Everyone's mission, everyone's objective should be same. So collaboration in the business is always between the like-minded partners, suppliers, and organizations. So trade lens is the outcome of collaborations between IBM and Maersk. And it is a blockchain-enabled shipping solutions for enhancing the global trade. Next trend, increasing the partnership to reduce the logistics costs. The international companies across the world are trying to find digital partners. The era of digital now, you can say. So here the international companies across the world are trying to find the digital partners in order to improve the global supply chain so that customers putting up at various locations and geographies can be provided better service experience. Because it is, unless and until it will be digitalized, it is not possible to integrate everything or to share everything or to improve the global supply chain. So various locations, irrespective of the geographies or locations, it is only possible by the help of digital partners only. Then fifth is supply chain digitization. Digitization would improve the global supply chain strategy. It will help the companies in monitoring inventories, managing the warehouse, stocks, etc. For an example, end-to-end digitization has been achieved in the most automobile companies. Basically, in the automobile companies, the end-to-end digitization has been achieved. Now, time by time, all the sectors, all the companies are adopting rigorously this digitization. Then the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence would have many applications. AI, it has many applications in the global supply chain strategies, such as warehousing segment, the route optimization, and in weather aspect also. In different areas also, global supply chain strategies, also the artificial intelligence works. Then next is service chains. What is that service chains? Service chain will become more important than product chains in the global supply chain strategy. Service is very important than the product as for the service chains. Companies would become more service centric than the product centric. So as for this, the companies would become more service centric than the product centric. You can say nowadays the organizations are selling the tangible products as service, and customers are looking for better experience and personalized space. The service part also is a major part here. It may be a product, it may be service, whatever it may be. Irrespective of the sector, irrespective of the product, the service has a major role. You can take the example, suppose you want to purchase a vehicle. Same time, the customers are thinking about the quality of the product and also more thinking about the service provided by that particular companies or agencies. If one company's service is good and better than another company, and customers generally prefers that service, the companies which provide the service better. Next comes to circular supply chain. The new logistics practices would focus in the circular supply chain in the global supply chain strategy, which further means that using previously used products as the raw materials. And at present, organizations are becoming more concerned towards the environment aspect. You know already before some times we are discussing about the green technologies. What does it mean? It is relating or concerned towards the environment. Nowadays, the organizations are becoming more concerned towards the environment aspect. How to reusing of the earlier product of raw material is the main parameters. Unless and until we can reuse that raw material or products, how it may destroy, it may waste the environment. So how it can be reused, that is also one of the important factor now. Then supply chain resiliencies. As the business environment is changing rapidly and organizations are trying their level best to function properly in the uncertain environment, so more focus on risk management and supply chain resilience has been done by the organizations. And basically the companies would focus more on supply chain risk management as a means to avoiding the undesirable events. It is another important thing. Supply chain resiliences. Then comes to the stronger collaboration. Stronger collaboration in the global supply chain strategy is the need of the hour. Nowadays, it is the most important thing how to the supply chain strategies, and there must be a stronger collaboration. And collaboration would increase in the supply chain as it can reduce overutilization of resources and other important aspects. How the resources will be used optimally, that is a important factors now. So for that reason, a stronger collaboration is required. Then SaaS in supply chain. What is that? Software as a service, SaaS. Organizations will use the software as a service in the global supply chain strategies. Because in every company, every organizations, every sectors, now software plays a major role. There are so many softwares have been developed, continuously it has been developed in the global supply chain strategies. Moreover, the use of the software as a service model in the supply chain technology would increase in the downstream and upstream of the global supply chain. Next is wearable devices. When combined with the cloud technology, wearable devices can help employee access and input data in real time. Warehouse managers can use the wearable for the last collection of inventory data. So the wearable devices are the new trend in the global supply chain strategies. It is a new trend in the global supply chain, wearable devices. It is a combined the cloud technologies and wearable devices which can help the employees access and input data in the real-time basis. Now comes to the different phases in the global supply chain strategies. There are different phases are there. Phase by phase, the global supply chain strategies has been worked. In phase 1, what the global supply chain strategies covers and tells. In phase 1, global supply chain strategy starts with designing a business operating model. What business operating model, which is based on real-time demand and informations collected from various authentic sources like customers, suppliers, vendors, partners, etc. So by collecting the different informations from these sources, the strategy works or designs, and it should be real-time basis. That does not mean that before 5 years or 10 years someone has collected some of the information and accordingly the strategy will be developed. No, it should be real-time basis, and that's information or sources. The information should collected from a reliable source or some authentic source. Who are the authentic source in a business organizations? Like the customers, suppliers, vendors, and partners, etc. So in phase 2, then what is the phase 2 tells about in the global supply chain strategies? In phase 2, build a global supply chain strategy which is adaptive and flexible. which is adaptive and flexible. As the business environment is continuously changing in the local and global space, you know, the day by day, the different strategy is coming. So global supply chain strategy should be adaptive and flexible. It should be adaptable by all and it should be flexible also. It should not be rigid. Why? Because business environment is continuously changing. If you will rigid, then you will be a failure. So all sincere efforts should be made by the organization to build adaptive framework so that some uncertain event will not disrupt the entire supply chain. Some uncertain event may come, but it will not disrupt the entire supply chain if you have an adaptive framework, flexible framework. Otherwise, it may create some problems. Then in phase 3, what is that global supply chain in phase 3? It optimize the product, designs and supply. It focuses on the optimization of the product designs and supply. And in order to sustain, to accelerate profitable innovation, so that the needs of the customer and other stakeholders should be kept in mind in the global supply chain strategies. So how to optimize the product design and supply in order to sustain to the accelerate profit innovation. The profit should be accelerated. Simultaneously, there must be some innovations also attached. So needs of the customers and other stakeholders should be kept in the mind in the global supply chain strategies. Whereas in phase 4, it is about the aligning of the global supply chain strategies with the business goal through integration of operations planning with corporate planning. It is an integration part of the operation planning with the corporate planning. Because if the proper integration is not done, then the supposed fruits of the supply value chain would not be grabbed by all the stakeholders. So how it will be possible? How it will be grabbed by all the stakeholders? There must be proper integration. There must be integration of operations planning with the corporate planning. The operation planning must be integrated with the corporate planning. Unless and until it will be integrated, the ultimate objectives or the fruits or the result or outcome cannot be grabbed by the stakeholders. This is about the phase 4. Then in phase 5 of the global supply chain strategies tells about the operations sustainable by adapting the lean manufacturing is the need of our in the present business environment. Basically, phase 5 covers about to make global supply chain strategy operations sustainable. How? By adapting lean manufacturing is the need of our in the present business environment. What is that lean manufacturing? As per the demand of the customer, as per the necessity of the customer, if any business organizations will provide that type of product quality with a less time, in a time effective manner, then it will, we can say the organizations can sustain. And nowadays it is another challenge. Basically in the global supply chain, it is a major challenge. So in phase 6, making the global supply chain strategy reliable and fast is very important nowadays. That should be reliable and should be very fast. Because customers want quality products and service, but in a less time. Because the competitors, otherwise the competition may take that advantage. So making global supply chain strategy reliable and fast is very important nowadays because customers wants quality products and service in very less time as the competitive environment is increasing day by day. You know, so many competitors are coming time by time. Every year, some competitors are adding in that particular sector or market. So if you will not provide the quality as well as the fast service, then in the competition you may be backward. So how to survive in a competitive market? This is also focuses in the phase 6. Now comes to supply chain design matching with the business strategies. What are the supply chain design matching with the business strategies? There are different designs are there, which is matching with the business strategies. One strategy is distribution of network design. Distribution of network design. As you know, a distribution network is a logical framework. There must be a logic behind it, which is designed based on the characteristics of the product and customer's need. A distribution network cannot be designed without knowing the characteristics of the product and customer needs. So both the things you have to think in case of you are designing a distribution network, the characteristics of the product and customers needs. There is a range of distribution networks which can be designed depending upon the trade-off done by the firm between the efficiency and responsiveness. Two things. A trade-off is required between the efficiency and responsiveness. Next comes to what are the factors? One is response time. One is response time. What is that? It is the time in which the supply chain responds to one end customer need. It is that particular time in which the supply chain responds to one end customer need. Second factor is product variety. One is response time, second is product variety. Product variety takes care of as how many different kinds of products can be offered by the supply chain. Product variety also another important thing which takes care of as how many different kinds of products can be offered by the supply chain. So third factor, product availability. Because you know the availability of the products depends upon the probability of getting customers' need fulfilled by the supply chain. So the one factor is response time, next is product variety, third is product availability. Next is customer experience. This is the new aspect as it takes care of as to with how much care a customer can place and customize an order, and experiential aspects like value added by the supply chain to the customer experience. Please think, suppose there are 2 to 3 options are with me. Which particular agencies or supply chain I will prefer? Definitely, this is linked with my experience. From my experience, what I got. That means which agencies or organizations has more providing more value, providing more better service than others. So if it has any value added service, then I can prefer. If all are same, then how we can take that advantage? Then in a competition, we may not go ahead. So we have to focus on the value added by the supply chain, which helps the customer experience to choose our product in long run. Number 5 factor is time to market. Generally, it takes into consideration the duration of time. Time is a very important factor. It is very precious for everyone. And it generally takes into consideration the duration of time taken by the supply chain to launch a new product from manufacturing to the market. So that is the gap, the time of the new product from the manufacturer to the launching of the market. This time to market also takes a major role in the global supply chain management. Number 6 is order visibility. It is provided by the distribution network to the end customer to track their order. It should be transparent. You can take the example of any Flipkart or Amazon, so many agents are there. We are tracking that or not. Why? Because it should be visible in which place my order is now. So order visibility is provided by the distribution network to the end customer to track their order. Number 7 is returnability. This refers to as such with how much case the supply chain can manage when end customer tries to return the shipment. What is our process? What is the process simplicity, or it is rigid, or it is complex? So this returnability also, how much case the supply chain can manage when end customer tries to return the shipment. It is also another challenge for all. If we have some return facilities, but how we can manage that? How much return we can manage? That is also a strategy we have to design. It is not possible if all the products of every day you will return or the customer will return. That means there must be some errors are there in our strategies. So we have to think all these things in the global supply chain strategies. Now comes to types of distribution network design. What are the different types of distribution network design? Number 1 is manufacturers storage with direct shipping. It is one category. Manufacturer storage with direct shipping. Here what happens, the name itself indicates the manufacturer storage with direct shipping design. What happens, the customer places an order with the retailer and the shipment is done directly by the manufacturer to the end customer. So here what happens, it bypasses the retailer in between. Direct customer place the order through retailer, but shipment is done from the manufacturer to the customers. So here what happens, that is retailer become bypass. In this way, the flow of information is from end customer to retailer and then to manufacturer. And the flow of order is directly without any intermediary from manufacturer to customer. Here there is no intermediaries because directly it passes from manufacturer to the customers. So here what happens in this manufacturer storage with direct shipping, there are some advantages are there. What are the different advantages of this? One is centralization of inventory at manufacturer with lower level of inventory at retailers. Generally this happens as it passes from manufacturer to the customer directly, automatically the inventory can be monitored, inventory can be managed in a very easy way because it has been centralized of the inventory at manufacturer with the lower level of inventory at retailers. In the case of retailers, what happens here? There is a lower level becomes because it bypassed by the retailers. Another thing, aggregation of a demand from all retailers and as and when need inventory. This is also another demand advantage. Another is opportunities for the manufacturer to postpone customization. Here, there is a advantage. The manufacturing can have the opportunity to postpone at any moment. And another is facilities like warehouse are not established in this case. Reduction in fixed cost would be an advantage. Here it is not a disadvantage, it is an advantage. The facilities like warehouse. And another advantage is handling cost. Here handling cost will be saved. Why? Because there is no transfer from manufacturer to retailers. So directly it passes from manufacturer to customers. So handling cost will be saved. These are the different advantages. And what are the different disadvantages? If the demand is predictable, the benefits of the inventory aggregation cannot be taken. Then it will be a disadvantage. Another thing, outbound transportation cost increase because single customer may have multiple partial shipment from different manufacturers. Yes, it happens. That does not mean that one single customer will order at a time with one manufacturer. So outbound transportation cost increase here. So it is another disadvantage. Next is large amount of investment is needed for developing and maintaining information infrastructure. Because as it is directly connected to the customer, our infrastructure of information should be large. If we are unable to do that, then we may fail. In long run also we may not succeed. So as there is a larger amount should be invested, it is also another disadvantage. Next is response time is high, as the distance between the manufacturer and the end customer may be larger than the retailer and customer. Generally, this is a very common thing. The manufacturer and retailer communication, or retailer and customer communication, and the manufacturer and direct customer communication definitely will be varied. It is a distance between manufacturer and customer. It is the response time should be, and it will be automatically high. So it is another disadvantage of these strategies. Next, second strategy is like manufacturer storage with direct shipping. Manufacturer storage with direct shipping and in-transit merger. In manufacturer storage with direct shipping and in-transit merger distribution network design, information fast flows from end customer to retailer, then from retailers to manufacturer. This is the opposite of that previous strategies. What happens? The information fast flows from end customers to retailers, and then from retailers to manufacturers. And in this strategy also there are different advantages. Every strategy has some advantage and disadvantage. Here what are the advantages? Here what happens? Outbound transportation cost would be lower as compared to the drop shipping, the previous one. If the cost would be lower, in that strategy the cost would be more. And another is only single delivery will be there and overall customer experience is good. Definitely the experience of the customer will be good as a single delivery. And in this way, in the in-transit merger places allow the companies at an advantageous position. How? By incurring the lower inventory and transportation cost. Here the inventory cost and transportation cost is very less, because there is a retailer is in between. So as the cost is low, so it is a definitely advantage of these strategies. But what are the disadvantages of this? Here, cost of handling at the in-transit merchant location would increase also. Cost of handling in case of in-transit merchant location would increase. And here, the response times will be higher as compared to dropshipping. Response time also will be higher because there is the information should pass from retailer to the manufacturer. So then after getting the information from manufacturer, the retailer will pass to the customer. So the time gap will be higher. So it is also another disadvantage. Then next is distributor storage with carrier delivery. So here what happens in this strategy is, in the distributor storage with carrier delivery of distribution network system, the warehouse storage by the distributors, retailers act as intermediary between the manufacturers and customers. Third party logistics firm is used for packaging and carrier service. Here the entry of third party logistics comes. So in this strategy, the advantages are like the outbound transportation cost would lower because at distribution storage, end customer orders can be bundled into single shipment, unlike the case of drop shipping. Another advantage is less capital expenditure and revenue expenditure in establishing and maintaining information the infrastructure. Another advantage, faster response time. Here the response time is faster to the manufacturer storage. Managing the reverse logistics for returning any product would be an easier task also. And order visibility would be easier than the drop shipping model. These are the different advantages of these particular strategies. Some disadvantages are there. Cost for keeping the slow moving inventory in distributor storage would be more than the storing at manufacturer place. But for fast moving inventory would not be much of the difference. In case of fast moving inventory, it does not have a much difference, but in other cases it has a difference. Another disadvantage is variety and availability of the product will be less as compared to dropshipping model. The availability is compared to less. Availability of the product will not be possible unless the manufactured product reaches the distributor storage location. These are the different disadvantages of these particular strategies. Next category, distributor storage with the last mile delivery. Here, this type of distribution network design, the last mile delivery of the shipment is directly done by the distributor, retailer to the customers, whom instead of using a package carrier, it directly retailer to the customers whom it reaches. And the advantage is response time is very quick. Order visibility is same to the previous model. It is return ability is easier in this network as compared to the others. So these are the three advantages of these particular strategies, but some disadvantages are there. Here, the cost of carrying becomes higher, and they open a greater number of warehouses as to increase the reachability. Greater number of warehouses is required. because if you not have a greater number of warehouse, you cannot your reachability will not increase, and product variety and availability is comparatively less. So these are the different disadvantages of that particular strategies. Then comes to retail storage with customer pickup. Here in retail storage with customer pickup is the most conventional type of distribution network design, where inventories are kept at retail storage and customers can place an order either by physically visiting the retail stores or providing facility of ordering through online mode. It may be through physical or through online mode. The advantages of this particular strategies or model is response time is very low with this type of network. Second is time to market factor is longest with this type of network model. Number three is returnability is easier as retail stores act as a substitute. Next is inexpensive mode of inbound transportation can be used to lower the cost. These are the advantages of this particular model, whereas the disadvantages are there is a lack of aggregation, increases the carrying cost of inventory at the retailer storage. There is a hefty amount of capital and revenue expenditure need to be done for the information infrastructure. Heavy amount is required for the capital and revenue expenditure. So it is another disadvantage. And here product variety and availability are very expensive as compared to other network model. So as it is very expensive, it is also another disadvantage of this particular network model. Then comes to another model, manufacturer or distributor storage with customer pickup. In this distributor storage with customer pickup type of setup, the customers documents the placement of order with the retailers, and retailer forward the information to manufacturer storage. Then orders are first shipped to the distribution center where the cross-docking activities takes place. Then from this distribution center, orders are shipped to specified location called the pickup sites, where the end customers will pick the shipment. So here in this model, the advantage is as the firm has an option of using full truckload service, unlike the case of other options, returnability is easier in this case, and response time is comparable higher than the previous model. So these are the three advantages of this model, and disadvantages are like facilities. The cost can be high depending upon the number of locations on which the pickup sites are established. So number of pickup sites handling cost also increases. Second disadvantage is order visibility is extremely important for customer, and it has a significant amount has to be spent by the firm as a good coordination with respect to information is required among the retailers, manufacturers and distribution centers, pickup sites, etc. Processing cost also at the pickup locations are high. It is also another disadvantage. Customers' experience is also lost in this type of network as customers has to pick their shipments from the particular location. So these are the different disadvantages of this particular type of model. Now comes to the reverse logistics as a strategy. What is that reverse logistics? Please remember, it is one of the important part of this particular chapter. What is that reverse logistics? It is an integral part of the total supply chain management of many firms and industrial sectors, which offer an entirely new avenue for the revenue generation for companies. For an example, firms like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, they have been using the glass bottles. Paper industry use the papers as raw materials. So reverse logistics is an integral part of the total supply chain system. It is one of the important part and integral part of the total supply chain management or systems. If you can take other example, in the other hand, Indian automobile majors like Maruti, the True Value is involved in the business of the reconditioning and marketing of used car that have become a source of revenue generation. So under this system, they buy back used car from consumer. They are getting that car again purchased from the customer. So this is known as buyback. They are purchasing their own product from the customers. Again, it is buyback for used from the consumers. So here in reverse logistics, so reverse logistics is the process of moving goods from their typical final destination for the purpose of recapturing the value or proper disposal. For an example, H&M, the brand accept used the clothing at all of their stores worldwide. The clothes can be any condition or brand. The H&M will use the clothing they have collected to create an all recycled clothing line. It will collect and recycle that. This type of reverse logistics chain allows all types of consumers to get involved with the brand even if they did not purchase their garment from H&M. So see, by recycling, or we can say it is one type of recycling, the reverse logistics also, it is one of the integral part nowadays. How different companies, different brand companies also, they are adopting different strategies for the reverse logistics. There are different strategic use of reverse logistics are there. One is return on investment again. See, a purchase of equipment or manufactured equipment is an investment for a business. Over the time, the equipment improves the profitability and has a positive return on investment. And public perception, second strategic use is public perception. A business that engages in reuse and recycling can take advantage of the mass following of the green movement. People have seen the harmful nature of filling landfills with the millions of toxic, dangerous items, and the public wants to know that each company is doing its best to promote a safe environment for future generation. So public perception is also another strategy used. Next is reuse to compete in manufacturing. To know throughout the supply chain business compete with one another for a greater share of the market. This is routinely a positive occurrence and helps to keep the price of the products affordable. So reuse to compete in manufacturing is also another reverse logistics strategies. Last part, what are the customer service strategies, enables and determinants? You know, customer service strategy refers to a process of cost efficient and value added benefits provided to the external customer so as to exploit their marketing equipment in making the actual sales at the same time retain their happiness, loyalty and motivation. So happiness, loyalty and motivation towards the farm offerings, it is also one of the customer service strategies. So these are the different steps for an effective customer service. One is corporate vision about the customer service, present customer service strategies. Third step is customer service needed for product competitive advantage. Then development of a new customer service strategies, implementation of new strategies. Last is evaluation and appraisal for continuous improvement. All these six steps are for an effective customer service strategy is required. And this is a competitive advantage. And in a supply chain, suppose all particular product has to be delivered to the consumer, there are different raw materials that are needed for the manufacturer. So supply chains are comprised of all these stakeholders and the relationship between them to determine the effectiveness of the supply chain. So these are the 5 ways to signify the supply chain management. One is low cost, then superior customer service, value added service, flexibility, and regeneration. So this is about the today's class. Thank you all. Thank you.